if you'd asked me in 2019, I was going to go as far as be the CEO, right, of any company I worked for, but it was still going to be a W-2 job, right? And I applied for a position within the company, and to that point, I'd gotten every role I'd ever applied to or applied myself to. And in this particular case, I didn't get the job, right? And it occurred to me that, well, I'm not in control of my own destiny unless, well, I make it that way, right?
Welcome to the Texas Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview Texas real estate professionals from active real estate investors, lenders, property managers, and many others that provide goods and services into the real estate investing industry in the great state of Texas. Our goal is simple: to share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level, and to meet the pros that can help you get there. Texas Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and entrepreneurs build the business they need to live the life that they've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest, Ryan Kindred, is with Sable Capital and their commercial real estate syndicator based out of Texas. Ryan, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dylan. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely. It's great to have you on here. I'm a Texas licensed agent, and I've also been personally interested in syndication deals, have spoken with a number of syndicators, so it's great to have you on here. But before we hop into syndication, I do want to ask you, how did you get into real estate?
Yep. So it's actually back in 2019. So I've been working in the corporate world for 15 years now. And, if you'd asked me in 2019, I was going to go as far as be the CEO, right, of any company I worked for, but it was still going to be a W-2 job, right? And I applied for a position within the company. And to that point, I'd gotten every role I'd ever applied to or applied myself to. And in this particular case, I didn't get the job, right? And it occurred to me that, well, I'm not in control of my own destiny unless, well, I make it that way, right? So I had recently gotten my MBA, so I knew a little bit about real estate and the opportunities that it afforded. So I started waking up a couple hours early every morning, studying YouTube University, reading any books I could get my hands on, right? And eventually took the plunge in getting my first commercial property down in Freeport, Texas. It was a huge leap of faith for me, right? It was definitely more than my house note. I was a spec buy. I didn't have a tenant lined up or anything. It was a single tenant office building. So I was like, you know what, if I'm going to do it, let's just jump with both feet in, right? And I knew that if I put myself in a corner, I'd go ahead and find tenants, I'd make it cash flow, and we'd survive. So that was my first adventure with commercial real estate. I skipped right over residential. I'd heard the horror stories of dealing with, individuals, or I guess residents, that if you get into single family, it's their livelihood, right? So you get into a lot of back and forth. There's a lot more management, in my opinion, and they're very personal about their money. Increasing rents is much more difficult. It's not, you're not dealing with a business in that regard. So I was always attracted to the commercial side for that reason.
That first deal or set of deals, was it 3 fourplexes? Was that what you got?
No, the first deal was like 6,000 square foot
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Just office building, single story
Okay.
on an acre. I'd been watching it for a while because I'd been checking LoopNet, trying to figure out where I was going to make my first step, right? And the pictures on LoopNet were terrible. And they just show, if anybody can learn something from that, it's, don't just go off of what LoopNet or any online listings are showing you. I'd say always go check it out in person because pictures were taken on a rainy day. The building on the outside looked pretty bad, pretty dirty for whatever reason. The pictures were dark. Then I show up to visit the property and come to find out it was in pristine condition. Like the inside was immaculate. It had been owner operated and owner built. Actually, it was an architect firm that was being acquired. So you just never know what opportunities there are until you just dive further down into the details is what I would.
I'd like to get a little granular on that deal specifically. So it's commercial office space, large building. Which area of Texas was this in?
Can you repeat that?
Which area of Texas was that deal in?
Southeast Texas. So right, just probably, I don't know, 5 miles from where I live.
And then when you're looking at that deal versus other deals, was it something specific about that deal which piqued your interest?
So probably the purchase price initially, right? And I knew the potential. So I looked in this region specifically because that's where I worked, right? A chemical manufacturing company. I understand what the suppliers and vendors are looking for in the area. I know that they need storage space, they need office space. It's a mecca for chemical manufacturing, major facilities down here. So I knew that the risk was relatively low as far as finding somebody who would need that space. I had a performa spreadsheet that I'd run and simulate, based on market rents. So talking with local brokers on what the typical rent rates are, whether it's triple net or gross. What are we looking at there? So based on that, when the purchase price and the cap rate in the area, I knew what I'd buy it for. But then talking with the seller, they were kind of under duress too, so I knew what they'd probably let it go for as well. So it just became something that, the risk was not finding a tenant within a few months and having to front that mortgage on my own, right, and the utilities and all that. But I knew I had enough connections in the area to make that happen. So I had a bit of a foundation and a launching pad already.
Now, as far as being able to close on that deal, was this bank funded? Did you go through syndication yourself at that point in time? How did you end up taking that deal down?
Yeah. So this one was purely bank funded. This is just conventional loan on this. Now commercial loans are a little bit different than residential and private equity in the sense that typically there's a 5-year balloon payment on it. So you're going to get whatever the going rate is, usually prime +1, and whatever that is at the time, you kind of have to accept it and live with it. But you can typically, with a local credit union or a bank, there's not really a prepayment penalty that's too severe. So if you needed to just lock it down and then refinance a couple years later, hopefully after you've stabilized it, you can do that, right? So it was a conventional loan. The beauty of this deal and kind of what set things off was just that, what I kind of alluded to with the refinancing, right? So you add the value of the property, you get it cash flowing, you get it stabilized, or what the banks consider stabilized. And then I was able to refinance with private equity.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
For quite a bit more than I purchased the property for, obviously. So purchase
I
price for
would like to ask you, maybe getting a little bit granular, give away some of the gold, but not all of it here, Ryan.
yeah.
When you're taking out a bank loan for a commercial property like that, I'm sure it's going to be different at each institution that someone might request. But what's generally the process? Of course, they're vetting you. They're also looking at the property itself. What else are they asking for? As someone myself who's not familiar with how that process would be in commercial.
Yeah. So I found it was best to meet them in person, honestly, because you build that relationship, and it is very true. Like, they are evaluating you and interviewing you as an individual, right? But also with your background. So what does your resume look like? What's your history with investing? They're going to want to see some tax returns. They're going to want you to fill out a personal financial statement. That's just if anybody's ever used Mint, I think Mint is closed down now, so I use Monarch. But if you've ever built out all of your assets, all of your liabilities, your loans, your stocks, your brokerage accounts, and you package all that together to get your net worth, they want to know what that is, right? So those were a couple critical things. They'll back check it against your tax returns, usually back by, the last 3 years, but then they'll also want you to commit at least to putting all of your assets and reliability, your financial snapshot on paper, and basically hold you to that.
What year did this first deal happen for you?
That was in 2019.
2019. Okay. So traditional bank loan, 2019, find deal on LoopNet, and you're seeing, proof of concept and how this can go down. Did you start to think about syndication following this deal? How did that come into play?
So actually, I kept acquiring more properties after that, just the conventional route. Once this was cash flowing, I had a couple people that I met along the way that were interested in doing what I was doing, so partnered with them. Actually, even my brother-in-law up in Ohio and Michigan partnered with him, so he wanted to get into it, and I kind of told him how we needed to approach it, but he took it and ran it up there in Ohio and Michigan. So we acquired some properties up there that he manages, and I helped him grow that. But then down here, acquired some more commercial properties, like a 10,000 square foot office warehouse facility that, again, leased out to single tenant. And honestly, it got to the point where I kind of had a proven concept, but if it's just me and maybe one or two other partners, you see where your ceiling is as far as the size of the properties you can tackle, and the magnitude, I guess, of impact you can make for yourself and for others. So what attracted me to the syndication side was, again, being able to tackle larger deals, but also hopefully involve more people that would like to benefit from the passive investment of real estate. So allowing them to own some equity in a deal, take advantage of depreciation, get that quarterly dividend there, that quarterly payment, see what real estate can deliver on, but then allow us to grow a portfolio as well and continue to offer those benefits.
We talked a little bit, Ryan, before hopping on here about the areas of Texas that you invest in. When you're looking for people to invest in the syndication, are these folks who are very much familiar with those areas? Are they folks from all across the country? Are they located majority in Texas? Is there an avatar or a profile of an investor, or is it a diverse range that's across the board?
Yeah, pretty diverse right now. I'd say diverse in background and avatar wise.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Because it's when you get started and you have to initially raise capital, and if you don't have either a partner or a KP or some relationship with somebody who has a broad network already, you have to build it from scratch, right? And that's what I had to do. So to do that, usually you're going to family and friends. So I'm originally from Michigan. Um, Extended families in Ohio. My wife's family is in Ohio. So we had a bigger network up there from growing up there our whole lives to where I can go reach out to them. They trust me already. Again, it's family and friends. They know what I've done so far, right, on my own. So we already have kind of some momentum going there. And then locally, being down here in the industry and knowing a lot of other engineers and manufacturing professionals, it's really just reaching out to them and explaining the benefit, the opportunity of diversification, either out of the stock market, out of your savings account, things like that, right? So it's right now it's a very broad spectrum. I think if we had any avatar, obviously it's manufacturing professionals. We're looking into medical fields being so close to Houston, and the medical mecca that is. I think there's opportunity there to just help people establish really our generational wealth, right? And
Yeah.
because if they can get excited about real estate as much as I am, as much as we are, that there's it's a really big ocean, right? And if everyone's looking for deals and we can partner up, I think that's a great place to be.
I have a general question about syndications. When folks are investing in syndications themselves, are they able to identify which deals that they want to be a part of, or is it, hey, I'm putting money into the syndication fund, and then the fund identifies which deals that we want to take down?
Yeah. So it can be either, right? And in our case, we've only done deal specific funding, so capital raising, but we've considered, and we will be looking into starting a fund, right? So a fund is just you're contributing to a pool of money that we say, hey, on average, we'll see a certain percent return on this fund, right? And it's up to us to go find the right investments to make that happen. Um, with its deal specific, you're kind of knowing what you're signing up for right away. We were giving you the return metrics, what you can expect from the property, the business plan for that particular investment. So that's more honed in on the investor knows exactly what they're getting into, and they can get behind a physical asset property, that is packaged for them right in front of them. If you invest in a fund, it's not net, it's not there's no bad thing about that, right? It's just it can be invested anywhere to get the return that is kind of preferred or promised to you, right? As the investor.
Well, we are coming up on time here, Ryan. Thank you so much for really giving our audience a breakdown of syndications, and then also your background. I think a lot of people will get value as well from that first deal and how you went about that. A lot
Yeah.
of people, even myself, have looked at syndications and then also commercial deals as well. And there's a market shift, I think, that favors that right now. Where can folks go if they'd like to reach out to Sable Capital, if they'd like to get in contact with you?
Sure. They can go to um, sablecapitaltx.com, and there'll be a place there where they can join the newsletter or join the investor club, right? To set up. Usually, I mean, everyone that invests with us, I set up a personal one-on-one with them, or they can schedule a one-on-one. I like to understand what their investment goals are, who they are, what they're all about, what they want to get out of it, and where they stand to kind of in their real estate investment in their journey, right? So go there, register. Email, you can email me directly. I know you have that email address. You can share, but that's just at Ryan@SableCapitalTX.com.
Ryan, thank you so much for coming on the show here today.
Thanks for joining us for today's show. If you're looking to take your business and your life to the next level, you really need to learn more about the Investor Fuel Mastermind. It's your shortcut to success. To learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other amazing entrepreneurs, 100% financing on your deals, member-only discounts, and so much more, please visit investorfuel.com/Texas. By the way, Investor Fuel is even Texas-based. Also, if you're interested in applying to be a guest on this very show, the Texas Real Estate Pro Show, please visit investorfuel.com/Texas. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app so you never miss another episode. We'll see you on the next show.